Hey everybody, welcome back to the second episode of Nick at Night here on PHS The Talent. Today we're going to be talking about government cheese, and I actually brought in a special guest today, my friend Nolan Wally, who is our cheese expert. I have no idea what government cheese is, and educate me.
There's a bit of a difference between modern American cheese and its history. The history of it has it starting as a program during the New Deal where we had to help dairy farmers out because they were all struggling with less production after World War I. To do that, we decided to buy dairy products from these dairy farms, and we stored them as cheese, which expires a lot less than milk, and we just kind of keep on to it. This becomes very useful in World War II, where we can ship this dairy overseas to soldiers in Europe.
Blocks of just nasty cheese, like the yellow American cheese?
Nowadays, in its modern form, it is a form of American cheese in like orange block form. But back in the beginning days, I believe it was just any kind of cheese they can get their hands on. Part of the program is that any dairy farm can sell their cheese to the government, any cheese, as long as it is in cheese form and no other kind of dairy. And then what ended up happening is after the war, we just kept buying the cheese.
Like consistently? Just the same amount?
To the point where in the 1980s, we had 500 million pounds, and it became a national, problem. It became a gigantic political issue. Ronald Reagan, part of his promise as president, is that he would do something about it. What he ended up doing is he looked at our poverty problem, and he said, what if we give this cheese to poor people as a form of food stamp or a add-on to welfare? And most people thought that was a good idea.
So we're unemployment, you get your check and then a block of cheese every month, and then they send you on your way.
That was a big cultural thing of poverty, where it was a sign you were poor if you were getting cheese from the government.
If you have a grilled cheese, you're poor.
Yes, it's referenced by artists like Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, but also stuff like Saturday Night Live.
Kendrick Lamar and Snoop Dogg reference government
Yes.
Poor people cheese?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
The U.S. is consistently just buying more and more cheese. Just even though they're like, this is a problem, we have too much cheese, they just keep buying
They keep buying the cheese. The levels never went down. We halted how much we were doing, and I guess we have a healthy relationship with places like McDonald's and Whataburger that now buy this cheese
Government
and use
cheese.
it on their burgers and other dairy products that they have
So
there.
Big Brother controls my Big Mac? That's what you're trying to say?
Absolutely.
That's why it's called the Big Mac?
Every time you bite into like a Wendy's burger and you
Yeah.
taste that cheese,
Okay.
just remember that it's from the government.
Yeah.
And-
So it's full democracy infused into your burger.
Another thing to think about where that cheese though is it's stored in caves.
Caves?
Underground caves in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, is where they keep the biggest amount of cheese.
Is that why all the people in The Simpsons are yellow? They're all made of cheese. So they literal just underground tunnels that it's just cheese.
Yes, in fact, guarded. And it's like they have lights up. There are so many different it's almost like a gigantic wine cellar, except instead of kegs, it's just
a lot of cheese.
It's just cheese wheels everywhere. Do you want to know how much we have? 1.4 billion. 1.4 billion pounds of government cheese.
So much cheese.
Do you want to know how much cheese that is?
Please enlighten me.
Every single boat used by the Navy, more importantly aircraft carriers, every single aircraft carrier could not statistically hold that much cheese without sinking.
So if we got all the government cheese and tried to put it on an aircraft carrier, it would sink.
On every U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, they would sink. A cargo freighter, 28 of those, and we could fit all the cheese. The USDA, who's in charge of it, gave us a quote that said probably the most practical and easiest thing to do with all of it would just be to dump it in the ocean.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Nick at Night where we were talking about government cheese. It was a special one. This is only the second episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was definitely a really weird episode, and I personally feel enlightened. Thank you, Nolan, for coming in and talking to us. Come in next week, Wednesdays, 7:30. I don't know what we're gonna talk about yet. I'll see you all next time. Have a good night.